So, the story begins in the year 2053. It was a time when crime in Australia had significantly increased. We are told that all of Australia's prisons had been completely filled with inmates. As a result, the government ordered that prisoners be locked in large mechanical boxes and left far away from the cities. The government also created strict rules for the inmates living in these boxes, which were very important to follow. These prisoners received food and water only if permitted by the citizens of the city. If permission was not granted, the prisoners would receive nothing. Furthermore, any prisoner who tried to escape the box was brutally executed. We see a woman who has been thrown into an island as punishment inside one of these boxes. Her prisoner number is 7013, and she was sentenced to 4 years. That is, she had to live inside this box for 4 years. This woman was not given food or water for many days, which severely weakened her and made her lose the will to live. To relieve her pain, she decides to die. She pulls out a small blade from the corner of the box and cuts her throat. She dies there. In the next scene, we see a girl and a little boy on an island playing with a rope-made ball. Suddenly, the ball is struck by a falling box. The prisoner inside is number 371113, named Emmy, and he has just been dropped on this island. Emmy is startled by the impact and becomes aware of his surroundings. His hands and feet are tied with ropes, which scares him. He quickly unties himself. A small window in the box opens. When he looks outside, Emmy realizes he is floating on the sea. He becomes frightened and begins banging on the walls of the box to try and escape. Then, a small screen inside the box lights up. A woman appears and says, "A crime has been proven against you in court. As punishment, the court has sentenced you to imprisonment inside this box for 7 years." She also informs him that food and water will be provided only if approved by the people he betrayed. Emmy starts screaming loudly, saying, "I did nothing, I'm innocent," but no one hears his cries. The next day, when Emmy wakes up, he feels extremely thirsty. He takes his food bowl and pushes it out of the window, hoping someone will give him water, but there's no one around. Emmy then begins inspecting every part of the box, trying to find a way to escape. But when he touches certain areas of the box, he receives an electric shock. As time passes, Emmy's situation worsens, and survival becomes increasingly difficult. Meanwhile, we see another prisoner number 13558 inside another box. This inmate finds a possible way to escape. However, while attempting it, he accidentally triggers an alarm. A loud siren blares, and metallic rods shoot out from the box, piercing the prisoner's body. He dies instantly. The next morning, Emmy sees a girl named Sally arrive at his box. She gives him a small amount of food and water. Emmy tries to explain to her that he's innocent and hasn't harmed anyone, but Sally tells him whether you're guilty or not has already been decided by the general public. She also informs him that he's not the only prisoner here. There are many other boxes like his scattered around. Emmy spends the next few days surviving on the limited food and water he receives. One day, he thinks of ending his life. He looks up at the rope inside the box and considers hanging himself, but he stops, breaks down crying, and screams in despair. Time passes, and Emmy starts accepting his punishment. He begins focusing on his survival and stares out through the window of the box, eventually managing to sleep. One morning, Emmy reaches out through the box window and finds the same rope ball that appeared at the beginning of the story. He starts playing with it to pass the time, which helps him calm his mind. A few more days pass like this. Then, a drone appears. It picks up his box from the island and drops it in a dense forest. Here, we're introduced to another prisoner number 18012, who was sentenced to 5 years. He has already spent 896 days in the box. After cutting through that much time, the prisoner begins to understand that he's receiving the punishment he truly deserves. The next day, we return to Emmy. A girl named Mary comes to him. She asks, "What are you doing?" Emmy replies, "I'm serving my sentence here." Mary then asks, "Have you heard of William Shakespeare?" When Emmy says no, Mary offers him a book to read, but Emmy refuses to accept it, as reading is against the rules of the box. Mary then asks Emmy to come closer. When he does, she takes his hand and reads a few lines from Shakespeare aloud. Hearing those lines gives Emmy a deep sense of comfort. Before leaving, Mary gives him a small bag with food pills. She also promises, "I'll come back to meet you again." Because Emmy hadn't spoken to another person in a long time, he begins feeling strange. He lies down on the floor of the box, touching his own body. Meanwhile, all of this is being recorded by the with a CCTV camera inside the box. After a while, Emmy eats his food and finds a small book hidden inside the food packet, something Mary had secretly included in the bag. Emmy then moves to the back of the box to hide the bag from the camera. He opens the book and realizes it contains the writings of William Shakespeare. Using the little water he has left, Emmy starts cleaning his body, which is covered in wounds. It's important to disinfect the injuries, even in these conditions. After cleaning himself, he throws the remaining water out of the box window. However, since disposing of water is against the rules, Emmy is taken back to the sea as punishment. After some time, Mary comes to the sea and asks Amy what happened when everything was reset, and why she was sent back to the sea. Then she asks what the officials had told her when she was returned to the ocean. Mary also asks Amy how the prisoners are fed. Amy replies that the general public decides which prisoners receive food and which ones do not. Mary says, "I just walk between the prisoners and feed them at the same time. I want to eat more and help the inmates, but due to bad weather, sometimes I can't even reach them." Hearing this, Amy says, "Seeing you reminds me of my younger sister, who died a long time ago." After this, Mary leaves, and Amy is once again left alone. Amy had nothing except a small book, which she used to read secretly by hiding it from the surveillance camera. After a few days, a drone picks up Amy's box again and drops it in a new location. Here, a man arrives near Amy's box, eating an apple. He taunts her and says, "Do you want to eat this apple?" Amy pleads, "Please, show some mercy." But the man refuses and says, "You prisoners don't deserve mercy. You should all be hanged." Because Amy has been starving for a long time, she repeatedly asks for the apple. The man finally says, "If you make me happy, I'll give you this apple." Amy agrees, although intimacy with outsiders is against the rules of the box. The man proceeds to take advantage of her. During this act, a drone sees what is happening and immediately fires bullets at the man, killing him on the spot. One of the bullets also strikes Amy's foot, causing her intense pain. Despite her injury, she reaches her hand out of the box and takes the apple from the dead man's hand. But when she bites into it, she finds it's full of worms. She is unable to eat it. Later, when Amy is sleeping, a loud siren blares inside the box. She wakes up to find a screen lighting up. A woman appears and says, "You made a deal with that man in exchange for food. This is against the rules of the box. As punishment, you are sentenced to stay awake for 7 days. The woman adds, "This is your final warning. If you break any more rules, you will be executed the next morning." When Amy closes her eyes, flashing lights and sharp sirens fill the box, preventing her from sleeping. To stay awake, Amy begins banging her head against the wall of the box. Because of the extreme sleep deprivation, Amy starts hallucinating. She sees a woman standing in front of her. She's on the brink of madness, trying to cope with the crushing silence. Finally, after 7 days, her punishment ends. Amy sleeps for several days, exhausted. One night, she is awakened by the sound of fireworks. She looks out through the window and sees people celebrating the new year. On this new year, the government announces new punishments for prisoners in boxes. One day, an old woman visits Amy and says, "I spent 15 years in a box like this. It was the most painful experience of my life." Before leaving, the old woman gives Amy a rusty blade. Amy considers using the blade to cut her wrists, but before doing so, she sees Mary again. At first, Amy thinks it's just another hallucination, but Mary reassures her, "I'm real. I brought you water and a page from Shakespeare." Mary reads a page aloud, trying to give Amy a sense of hope. After this visit, Amy finds a reason to live again. A new sense of hope is awakened in her. Months pass. Amy starts noticing her belly is growing larger. She realizes she is pregnant from the incident with the man and the apple. That night, Mary returns and tells Amy she wants to help her escape the box, but the sensor system inside the box detects the presence of another person. A siren blares, alerting authorities. Mary quickly flees. The next morning, a man approaches Amy's box and asks, "Do you want kindness from me?" Amy tries to speak to him, but he points to another box in the distance and says, "That box belonged to someone who also asked me for help. I set it on fire." From this, Amy realizes that this man is dangerous, and she refuses to take any help from him. More months pass. Amy's pregnancy nears its end. After enduring great suffering, Amy gives birth to her child inside the box. When she holds the baby in her arms, she feels such immense joy that she forgets all the pain and misery she endured in the box for years. But shortly after, the box's sensor detects that there is another human inside. A loud siren rings, and gas starts to fill the box. By the time Amy realizes what's happening, it's too late. The baby dies from the gas exposure. Amy cries loudly, begging to have her child back. The next morning, it starts raining inside Amy's box. The cold air and water make her shiver uncontrollably. The box's security system also begins to malfunction due to the moisture. Authorities monitoring the system think Amy is tampering with it on purpose. They issue her a warning. If you do not stop interfering with the security system, you will be terminated. Suddenly, a countdown begins inside the box. Water levels start rising, and Amy begins to drown. Amy's box gets pulled by the ocean waves and begins to drift away. At the end of the story, we see some children playing on an island. Suddenly, they notice Amy's box near the shore. As Amy crawls out of the box, exhausted and soaked, the children see her, but instead of helping, they run away, frightened and confused. And with that, the story ends here.